know what it means to see somebody that looks like you and play the hero and the villain, and have the freedom to be both things. So that's a beautiful thing because it frees the human spirit. The key thing as an actor is to not judge the characters that you play. That's how you can play them and actually have compassion on them.
Actor Chadwick Boseman is dead at the age of 43. He was suffering from colon cancer, but never really made details about his condition public. Boseman rising to fame playing Jackie Robinson in the film 42, but it was his role as Black Panther that vaulted him to superstardom. The Marvel movie made more than $1 billion at the box office and attracted fans of all ages around the world. And today, friends, family, and co-stars are remembering Boseman for his talent, humility, and social activism. Well, to talk about this, we are now reaching out to Jesse J. Holland. He wrote the novel Who is the Black Panther when the movie was being filmed, and he actually met the actor in life as well. And Jesse J. Holland joins us right now from Bowie, Maryland. Jesse, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And as we say, you are not just a fan, but you're also someone who got to meet Chad Boseman. I know his death has struck so many people. Surprisingly, so many people so sad today. But I wonder, how are you feeling right now?
Well, of course, I was shocked when I heard the news last night. I was one of the people who did not know that Chadwick was even ill. He was even ill when I met him a few years ago, and he kept that to himself. So it was a big shock for me and a lot of other people who woke up this morning and wondering how are we going to tell our children that Black Panther died. It was just a huge shock.
And that really underlines his popularity, this idea that you, as a father, are now debating, how do I tell my kids that their hero has died?
Right. The role he played as T'Challa, the Black Panther, was iconic. It brought a sense of wonder to not only children around the world, but frankly, just people around the world. The movie role that he originated as the Black Panther, I mean, it changed lives. There's just no two ways around it. It brought people of color to the forefront when you talk about the superhero genre, and there was no better casting than Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. I mean, it's going to be just extremely hard for all of us to think of Black Panther and not to think Chadwick Boseman from now on. He played the role perfectly, and it's just going to be almost impossible to think about that superhero without thinking about him.
And also, part of it was more than just his acting abilities, and he was a great actor, but also the fact that he played such a great ambassador, because not only does he front a huge movie in the Marvel Universe, through this movie, the cast, the team behind it, they proved the fact that Black actors can lead a Hollywood blockbuster, that the racism distributed in Hollywood is not justified. But he also became a great ambassador in talking about issues of race and the need for greater equality in Hollywood. What type of loss does the community have in losing such a great ambassador as Boseman?
Well, not only did he advocate for African Americans in cinema, he was also a great advocate for historically Black colleges and universities, being a graduate of Howard University. When I met him, actually, he had just spent some time at his alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C., and he did so much work for them. And not only for them, for the people who followed him at HBCUs. One of the stories that he would tell was that Denzel Washington was one of his icons and helped him move forward as an actor. And he would talk about how much he owed Denzel Washington. He was setting up that exact same thing for himself. He was trying to help other Black creatives, whether you were an actor, an artist, a writer. He was inspiration and assistance for those people. So I mean, the legacy he leaves behind is huge, not only on screen, but in person as well.
You know, I want to play a clip here because one of his most memorable moments actually had to do with an acceptance speech that he gave at the Screen Actors Guild. It was just last year. It was a speech for Black Panther, and he talked about his experiences as a Black actor in Hollywood. I'm going to ask everyone to take a listen.
We all know what it's like to be told that there is not a place for you to be featured, yet you are young, gifted, and Black. We know what it's like to be told to say there's not a screen for you to be featured on, a stage for you to be featured on. We know what it's like to be the tail and not the head. We know what it's like to be beneath and not above.
Again, that speech was given just last year, 2019, and that was after the controversy of Hollywood So White, when African Americans and people of color were not being nominated or recognized by the Film Academy in the United States. It came a year before the great racial redress that we're now seeing not only in the United States but right around the world. We talked about your kids. I'm wondering about the next generation. What do they get to build upon? As every generation says, we stand on the shoulder of giants as we make change in the society. What about the next generation and what Boseman leaves behind for them?
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because Boseman will be known as one of those giants whose shoulder future Black actors and actresses will stand on. One of the things that he helped prove with Black Panther is that Black writers, Black actors can succeed if given the chance. Just like he said in that speech, we all know what it's like to not be the person in charge, to be the person left behind. Through efforts like the ones he made, people in the future, people of color, not just African American actors, but Hispanics, Asians, Native Americans, we all have a chance to do our best work, because people like Chadwick Boseman took the opportunities they had and they blew it out of the water. Because of Chadwick Boseman, there's no question about the fact, can an African American actor be a superhero, lead a billion-dollar franchise? Because of people like Chadwick Boseman, we know now that we can. And not only we can do it, our children can do it, our children's children can do it. Because of Chadwick Boseman, the world of entertainment has changed forever, and that's going to be his legacy.
You know, quickly running out of time, but Jesse, I know that Chadwick Boseman signed a copy of your book. That must have special meaning for you going forward now.
Right. Well, I will admit that I'm jaded enough that I don't really normally ask actors and celebrities for autographs. I admired Chadwick Boseman so much that I had him sign a book that I wrote. And coming up in the future, I'm going to be the editor of another Black Panther anthology featuring new writers writing about the world of Wakanda. That book's going to be dedicated to Chadwick Boseman.